The transport ship New Dawn moved slowly through the dark space between stars. Captain Lee Dae-ho stood on the bridge, watching the stars through the big front window. Behind him, his crew worked at their stations. The soft hum of the ship's engines filled the air. "How much longer until we reach New Busan?" Lee Dae-ho asked. His navigation officer, a young woman named Officer Han, looked at her screen. 6 hours, Captain. The planet is showing up on our long-range sensors now. Lee Dae-ho nodded. In the cargo bays below, 50,000 people waited to start their new lives. Families with children, old people looking for a peaceful place to spend their final years. Young couples dreaming of building something new. They had traveled for 3 months to reach this place. Dr. Park Soo-jin walked onto the bridge. She was the chief medical officer and the person in charge of setting up the new colony. Her hair was tied back, and she looked tired but happy. "The settlers are excited," she said to the captain. "The children keep asking when they can see their new home." "Soon," Lee Dae-ho replied. "The terraforming machines have been working for 20 years. The air is clean, the water is pure, it will be a good place for them." In the engine room deep inside the ship, Engineer Kim Tae-woo checked the power systems one more time. Everything looked normal. The fusion reactors hummed with steady power. The life support systems worked perfectly. This was his 5th colony transport mission, and he knew how important his job was. One mistake could kill everyone on the ship. The New Dawn was not alone. 2 smaller ships flew beside it. These were escort frigates, military ships sent to protect the transport. Their captains talked to Lee Dae-ho on the radio every few hours. Everything seemed normal, but something was wrong. Far away, hidden behind a small moon, alien ships waited. They were long and dark with sharp edges that looked like teeth. These ships belonged to the Saurian Empire. The aliens inside looked like giant lizards that walked on 2 legs. Their leader, Admiral Vextar, sat in his command chair and watched the human ships on his screens. "The humans come, just as our spies said they would." Vextar spoke to his officers. His voice was deep and cold. "They think this space belongs to them." "Should we attack now, Admiral?" asked his second-in-command. "No. Let them get closer. I want them to see how hopeless their situation is." The Saurian fleet had 30 ships. Each one was bigger and stronger than the human escort frigates. They carried weapons that could burn through metal like paper. They had shields that could stop most attacks. The humans had no idea what was waiting for them. On the New Dawn, Dr. Park Soo-jin walked through the settler areas. Families sat together, in small rooms talking about their plans for the new world. Children played games in the corridors. Everyone was happy and excited. "Dr. Park." A little girl ran up to her. "Will there be animals on New Busan?" "Yes, sweetie." Dr. Park Soo-jin smiled. "The terraforming teams brought many Earth animals there. You'll see rabbits and birds and maybe even horses." The little girl clapped her hands and ran back to tell her parents. Dr. Park Soo-jin's smile faded as she walked away. She had read the reports about tensions with alien governments. Some of them did not like humans expanding into new areas of space. But the lawyers said New Busan was legal. Humans had claimed the system first. They had done all the paperwork with the Galactic Council. Back on the bridge, Captain Lee Dae-ho received a message from Earth. It was from his wife and daughter. They stood in their garden waving at the camera. "We're proud of you, Dad," his daughter said. "Take care of all those people." Lee Dae-ho touched the screen gently. He missed his family, but this work was important. Humanity needed new worlds. Earth was getting crowded and people needed room to grow. "Captain," Officer Han called out suddenly. "I'm reading multiple contacts on the sensors, big ones." Lee Dae-ho hurried to her station. On the screen, red dots appeared around their position. Lots of red dots. "Signal our escorts," he ordered. "And try to identify those ships." The answer came quickly. The 2 escort frigates moved closer to the New Dawn. Their captains' voices crackled over the radio. "Unknown ships. This is Captain Park of the UES Guardian. Please identify yourselves." A new voice answered. It was deep and cold with strange sounds that hurt to hear. "Human ship, you are in Saurian space. Turn around and leave immediately." Captain Lee Dae-ho grabbed the microphone. "This is Captain Lee Dae-ho of the transport ship New Dawn. We have legal rights to travel to New Busan. Check your star charts." Laughter came through the radio. Cruel laughter. "Your human laws mean nothing here," the alien voice said. "I am Admiral Vextar of the Third Fleet. You have 1 minute to turn around or we will open fire." Lee Dae-ho looked at his crew. Fear showed on their faces, but also determination. They all knew what was at stake. "We have 50,000 civilians aboard," Lee Dae-ho said into the microphone. "Including children. We're not leaving." "Then you have chosen death." The alien ships came out from behind the moon. They were massive, dark shapes that blocked out the stars. Weapons glowed along, their hulls like angry red eyes. "Shields up," Lee Dae-ho shouted. "All crew to battle stations." Alarms rang throughout the New Dawn. In the settler areas, parents held their children close. Dr. Park Soo-jin ran to the medical bay to prepare for wounded people. The first shots came from the alien fleet. Bright beams of energy struck the escort. Frigates. The Guardian exploded in a ball of fire. The second escort, the Defender, lasted only a few seconds longer. "Our escorts are gone," Officer Han reported. Her voice shook. More energy beams hit the New Dawn. The ship's shields flashed and sparked. Emergency lights came on as power fluctuated. In the engine room, Kim Tae-woo fought to keep the ship running. Explosions echoed through the hull around him. Pipes burst, sending steam everywhere. But he kept working, trying to give his ship enough power to run. "Engines are failing," he reported to the bridge. "We're losing power." Admiral Vextar's voice filled the bridge again. "Your weapons are useless. Your shields are failing. Surrender now, and perhaps some of you will live to serve the Empire." Captain Lee Dae-ho looked at the tactical display. 30 enemy ships surrounded them. His transport had no weapons, no way to fight back. But he thought about the children in the cargo bays. He thought about his wife and daughter on Earth. "Never," he said. More shots hit the New Dawn. The ship shuddered and groaned. Systems failed all around the bridge. The lights went out, leaving only emergency power. "Hull breaches on Deck 7 and 12, Officer Han reported. Dr. Park Soo-jin's voice came over the intercom from the medical bay. "We have injured people down here. I need more medical teams." Admiral Vextar spoke again, and this time his message went to all of human space. "People of Earth, watch and learn. This is what happens when you defy the Saurian Empire. Your colony ship has 72 hours to surrender completely. If you refuse, we will execute every human aboard. Let this be a lesson to all who dare to challenge us." The message traveled through space at faster than light speed. It reached Earth, Luna, Mars, and all the human colonies. For the first time in over 100 years, humanity faced a real threat to its people. On Earth, in the deep command centers, old soldiers woke up. Ancient weapon systems came online. And in secret shipyards hidden behind Luna, something stirred in the darkness. Something that had been waiting for this day. The sleeping giant of humanity opened its eyes, and the galaxy would never be the same. The message from Admiral Vextar reached Earth 12 hours after the attack. In the deep command center beneath Geneva, alarms rang for the first time in a century. Old men and women who had been enjoying retirement suddenly found themselves called back to duty. Fleet Admiral Choi Min-ho sat at his desk, watching the alien transmission for the 5th time. His face was hard as stone. He had gray hair and scars from wars fought long ago against pirates and rebels. But this was different. This was an attack on innocent people. "Sir," his aide said quietly, "the president is on the secure line." Choi Min-ho picked up the phone. "Mr. President." "Admiral, I've seen the message. What are our options?" "Limited, sir. Our regular fleet is scattered across 50 star systems. It would take weeks to gather enough ships to fight a Saurian fleet. By then, those people will be dead." "Then what do you suggest?" Choi Min-ho looked at a locked cabinet in his office. Inside was a single key that he had hoped never to use. "I need authorization to activate the Thunder Soul project." Silence on the other end of the line. Then, "Admiral, that program was theoretical, untested." "It's our only chance, sir. The ship is ready. We just need a crew brave enough to fly her." 2 hours later, The authorization came through. Choi Min-ho took the key from his cabinet and walked to the secure elevator. It took him down through layers of rock and steel. At the bottom was a single door marked with warnings in 12 languages. Beyond the door was a room with one chair and one screen. Choi Min-ho sat down and inserted the key. The screen came to life. "Identity confirmed," a computer voice said. "Admiral Choi Min-ho. Authorization level, Thunder Soul Command." "Activate Luna Base 7, Choi Min-ho said. "Begin crew selection. Protocols. We have 72 hours. Far above Earth, on the dark side of Luna, ancient mechanisms began to move. What looked like solid rock split open. Hidden construction bays that had been sealed for 20 years revealed their secret. Inside, the largest bay floated a ship unlike anything humanity had ever built. It was 15 kilometers long, shaped like a great sword pointed at the stars. Its hull was black metal mixed with strange crystals that pulsed with inner light. This was the UES Indomitable Will, humanity's first Thunder Soul battleship. Captain Han Ji-woo received the call while he was eating breakfast with his family on Mars Colony. He was 40 years old, with calm eyes and steady hands. He had commanded exploration ships for 15 years, but never anything like this. "Captain," the voice on his phone said, "you are needed for a classified mission. Transport leaves in 1 hour." His wife looked worried. "What's wrong?" "I don't know yet," Han Ji-woo said, kissing her goodbye. "But people are in danger, and I have to help." The transport took him to Luna in 6 hours. When he saw the Indomitable Will for the first time, he stopped breathing. The ship was massive, bigger than most space stations. It seemed alive somehow, as if it was waiting for something. "Beautiful, isn't she?" a voice said behind him. Han Ji-woo turned to see Admiral Choi Min-ho approaching. The old admiral looked tired but determined. "What is she?" Han Ji-woo asked. "The future of human defense. We built her using technology we found in the ruins on Kepler 442. Ancient alien tech, but modified by human engineering. She's part machine, part something else." They walked closer to the ship. Han Ji-woo could feel something strange, like the ship was watching him. "Why me?" he asked. "Because you're calm under pressure. Because you care about people more than yourself. And because the ship's computer analyzed 10,000 candidates and chose you." Lieutenant Commander Yoon So-young arrived 2 hours later. She was 35 years old with short black hair and eyes that missed nothing. She had been the tactical officer on 3 different warships. When she saw the weapon systems on the Indomitable Will, she whistled softly. "Admiral, these weapons, they're not in any textbook I've read." "That's because we invented them yesterday," Choi Min-ho replied. "Quantum disruptors, gravity cannons, weapons that work by bending the laws of physics." Master Chief Petty Officer Lim Dong-min brought his Marines aboard that same day. He was a big man with gentle eyes and hands that could kill or heal. His Marines were volunteers, each one chosen for skill and courage. When they saw their new weapons and armor, they grinned. Like children with new toys. "Chief," one of his Marines said, "this armor, it's alive, I can feel it moving." "Symbiotic technology," Lim Dong-min explained. "It learns how you move and adapts. Takes care of you in battle." All across human space, the call went out. The best and brightest of humanity came to Luna. Engineers, doctors, weapons specialists, pilots. 12,000 people in total, all volunteers. Dr. Park Soo-jin, still trapped on the New Dawn, managed to send a secret message. She had hidden a transmitter in her medical supplies. Her message was short. "Children here are scared. Adults trying to be brave. Aliens planning something big. They keep talking about examples and lessons for the galaxy." The message reached Admiral Choi Min-ho just as the Indomitable Will was completing its final tests. He showed it to Captain Han Ji-woo. "They're not just going to kill those people," the Admiral said. "They want to broadcast it. Make an example." Han Ji-woo's jaw tightened. "How long until we're ready?" 6 more hours. The Soul Core is still syncing with the ship's systems. The Soul Core was the heart of the Indomitable Will. Deep in the ship's center, behind layers of armor and shielding, was a chamber filled with crystal formations and neural networks. It was part computer, part something that nobody fully understood. The ancient aliens who built the original technology were long gone, leaving only their machines behind. What exactly does the soul core do? Han Ji-woo asked. It connects the ship to its crew, Admiral Choi Min-ho replied. Makes them work as one mind. But we've never tested it with a full crew. We don't know what will happen. As the crew settled into their positions, strange things began to occur. Engineers found themselves knowing exactly what repairs were needed before running diagnostics. Pilots felt the ship's engines as if they were part of their own bodies. Weapons officers could sense targets through the ship's sensors. Lieutenant. Commander Yoon So-young ran combat simulations on the ship's computers. The results were terrifying and wonderful at the same time. In the simulations, the indomitable will could defeat entire fleets, but the power requirements were enormous. Captain, she reported to Han Ji-woo, if we use full power, we'll drain the soul core completely. The ship might not survive. Then we better make our shots count, Han Ji-woo replied. Master Chief Lim Dong-min trained his Marines in the ship's special combat systems. They could teleport directly onto enemy ships using quantum tunnels. Their weapons could cut through any known armor, but the training was hard, and not everyone could handle the mental connection to the ship. It's like the ship is alive, one Marine said after a practice session. Like it cares about us. Maybe it does, Lim Dong-min replied. Maybe that's what makes it work. In his quarters, Captain Han Ji-woo studied everything humanity knew about the Saurian Empire. They were an old race, proud and cruel. They believed that only the strong deserved to rule. They had conquered dozens of worlds and enslaved millions of people, but they had never fought humans before. They thought humanity was weak because humans preferred peace and negotiation. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Admiral Choi Min-ho came to see Han Ji-woo before departure. Captain, I need you to understand something. This ship, it's more than just weapons and armor. When you activate the soul core fully, you'll be connected to everyone aboard. You'll feel what they feel. Their courage will be yours, but so will their fear. And if we fail, then humanity learns that peace has a price. But I don't think we'll fail. I've watched you train with the ship. You and the crew, you're becoming something new. The indomitable will launched from Luna Base 7 with no fanfare, no crowds to see it off. It simply slipped away into the darkness between stars, moving faster than any human ship had ever moved before. The soul core hummed with power, and every person aboard could feel the ship's eagerness for battle. In the new dawn, Dr. Park Soo-jin felt something change. She couldn't explain it, but suddenly she wasn't afraid anymore. Somewhere out there, help was coming. Captain Lee Dae-ho, injured but still alive, looked out at the alien ship surrounding them. Hold on, he whispered to his people. Just hold. On a little longer. The Thunder Soul battleship raced through space, carrying with it the hopes and fury of all humanity. The indomitable will traveled through hyperspace like a dark arrow shot from humanity's bow. In the ship's core, the soul crystal pulsed with growing energy. Captain Han Ji-woo could feel it in his bones, a rhythm like a heartbeat, getting stronger with each passing hour. Captain, Lieutenant Commander Yoon So-young called from her tactical station. The soul core is showing some unusual readings. Power levels are climbing beyond our projections. Han Ji-woo walked over to her station. On the screens, energy patterns swirled in complex spirals that hurt to look at directly. Is it dangerous? I don't think so. It feels more like it's waking up. In the engine room, the ship's chief engineer worked alongside Kim Tae-woo's replacement, a brilliant woman named Engineer Oh Mi-ran. She had volunteered for the mission after hearing about the attack on the New Dawn. The ship's hybrid technology fascinated and frightened her. These power conduits, she said to her assistant, they're not just carrying energy, they're carrying something else. Information maybe, or thoughts. Thoughts? The young engineer asked. Look at these patterns, Oh Mi-ran pointed to her screen. They match human brainwave activity. It's like the ship is learning to think. Deep in the Marine quarters, Master Chief Lim Dong-min gathered his troops for a final briefing. These weren't ordinary Marines. Each one had been selected for their mental strength as well as their fighting skills. The ship's quantum combat systems required a special kind of courage. "Listen up," Lim Dong-min said to his assembled fighters. "We're going into a battle unlike anything humans have ever fought. Our enemy has numbers, but we have something they don't understand. We have unity." He gestured to their new armor and weapons. The suits looked like liquid metal that had been shaped into protective gear. The weapons hummed with barely contained energy. "These systems will connect you to the ship and to each other. You'll know what your teammates are thinking. You'll feel their strength. But it works both ways. If you panic, they'll feel it too. Stay calm, stay focused, and trust in each other." One of the younger Marines raised her hand. "Chief, what if the connection is too much? What if we lose ourselves?" "Then we lose ourselves together," Lim Dong-min replied, "and we win as one mind." Captain Han Ji-woo made his daily walk through the ship. It was something he had done on every vessel he'd commanded, but the indomitable will was different. The corridors seemed to shift slightly when he wasn't looking directly at them. Lights dimmed and brightened in patterns that almost looked like communication. In the medical bay, Dr. Lee Hee-jin prepared for casualties. She was a trauma surgeon from Earth's best hospital, but the medical equipment on this ship was beyond anything she had ever seen. Healing chambers that could regrow lost limbs, neural stabilizers that could repair brain damage, technology that seemed more like magic. "Doctor," her assistant asked, "how does this equipment work?" "I'm not entirely sure," Dr. Lee Hee-jin admitted. "The technical manuals are incomplete, but I think it responds to intent as much as programming. The ship wants to heal people, so it made sure we had the tools to do it." On the bridge, the communications officer picked up intercepted alien transmissions. The Saurian Empire was calling in reinforcements, not just their own ships, but vessels from their allied races, the insectoid hive clusters, and the energy-based void wraiths. "Captain," the officer reported, "we're reading over 2,000 enemy vessels converging on New Busan. They're not just planning to execute the prisoners. They want to make it a galactic event." Han Ji-woo studied the tactical display. 2,000 ships against one. The odds were impossible, but something deep inside him wasn't worried. The ship whispered in his mind that numbers weren't everything. Lieutenant, Commander Yoon So-young ran another combat simulation. This time she included the full enemy fleet. The results were still positive, but barely. "Captain, we can win, but it will require perfect timing and complete crew coordination. One mistake, and we're all dead." "Then we won't make any mistakes," Han Ji-woo replied. In the prisoner-holding area of the New Dawn, Dr. Park Soo-jin worked to keep spirits up among the captives. 50,000 people crowded into spaces meant for 20,000. Food was running low. The air recycling system struggled to keep up, but something strange was happening. The children had stopped crying. The adults seemed calmer, more determined. When Dr. Park Soo-jin asked about it, an old man gave her an odd answer. "Can't you feel it, doctor? Something's coming. Something that cares about us." Dr. Park Soo-jin didn't know what he meant, but she felt it too, a warm presence at the edge of her consciousness growing stronger every hour. Admiral Vextar paced his command ship's bridge, studying reports from his scouts. The human response puzzled him. According to his intelligence, Earth had dispatched only one ship against his entire fleet. "Admiral," his tactical officer hissed, "perhaps the humans are planning a trap. This could be a diversion while their main fleet approaches from another direction." "Our sensors would detect any large fleet," Vextar replied. "No, I think this is desperation. They're sending whatever they have, hoping to buy time for negotiations." What the Saurian admiral didn't know was that his sensors couldn't detect the indomitable will. The ship's hull was made from materials that absorbed scanner waves instead of reflecting them. To alien instruments, it looked like empty space. On the indomitable will, the crew began to change. Engineers found themselves working in perfect harmony, anticipating each other's needs. Pilots moved their hands to controls before conscious. Thought told them to. Weapons specialists felt targeting solutions appear in their minds like gifts. It's the Soul Core, Captain Han Ji-woo explained to his senior officers. It's learning from us, and we're learning from it. We're becoming something new. Is that a good thing? Asked Lieutenant Commander Yoon So-young. I think it's the only thing that will save those people. The ship's quantum sensors picked up a transmission from the New Dawn. It was Dr. Park Soo-jin, using her hidden communicator one last time before the batteries died. If anyone receives this, her voice crackled through static, know that we're not afraid anymore. The children are singing. The adults are telling stories. We feel connected to something larger than ourselves. Whatever happens, we're ready. Jatin. Han Ji-woo closed his eyes and felt the soul core pulse around him. In that pulse he sensed 50,000 human minds calling for help. Their fear, their hope, their desperate courage. It all flowed into the ship's crystalline heart. All hands, he announced over the ship's intercom, prepare for battle. We drop out of hyperspace in 1 hour. Master Chief Lim Dong-min checked his Marines one final time. Each soldier stood straighter, moved with perfect coordination. Their individual personalities remained, but they were also part of something larger now. Engineer Oh Mi-ran watched her power systems reach levels that should have been impossible. The Soul Core wasn't just storing energy, it was creating it, pulling power from the quantum vacuum itself. Dr. Lee Hai-jin felt her healing equipment respond to her thoughts. The ship wanted to preserve life, and it gave her the tools to do impossible things. Lieutenant Commander Yoon So-young saw weapon systems activate that weren't in any manual. The ship was designing new ways to fight, new ways to protect the innocent. Captain, the navigation officer called out. Approaching. New Busan system. Recommend we drop to normal space behind the outer moon. Negative, Han Ji-woo replied. Take us directly into the system. I want them to see us coming. Sir, that will put us right in the middle of their fleet. Exactly where we need to be. The indomitable will burst out of hyperspace like a thunderbolt from the gods. For a moment, the alien fleet didn't react. Their sensors took precious seconds to register the massive ship that had appeared among them. Admiral Vextar stared at his tactical display in disbelief. What is that thing? His scanning officer's voice shook as he replied. Sir, it's 15 kilometers long. Energy readings are impossible. It's like a star decided to become a warship. On the human battleship, Captain Han Ji-woo felt the Soul Core reach full power. Every person on his ship was connected now, 12,000 minds, working as one. The feeling was overwhelming and beautiful and terrifying all at once. This is Captain Han Ji-woo of the UES Indomitable Will, he broadcast on all frequencies. You have attacked innocent civilians. You have threatened children. Release them now, and we will allow you to leave in peace. Admiral Vextar's laughter echoed across space. One ship against 2,000? Human, you have chosen a glorious death. No, Han Ji-woo replied, and his voice carried the weight of 12,000 souls. We have chosen to remind you why humanity chose peace. It wasn't because we were weak. The Soul Core pulsed once, twice, 3 times. On every screen throughout the ship, the same message appeared. Thunder Soul Protocol ready. All weapons charged. For the innocent. It was because we were kind, Han Ji-woo finished. The battle for humanity's future was about to begin. Admiral Vextar stared at the human battleship on his tactical display. The vessel hung in space like a dark blade pointed at his heart. Around it, 2,000 alien warships formed a deadly circle. The numbers should have been overwhelming, in his favor, but something felt wrong. All ships, Vextar commanded, open fire, destroy the human vessel. Energy beams and missiles launched from 100 different ships. The space around the Indomitable Will filled with deadly light. Any normal ship would have been vaporized instantly. But the Thunder Soul battleship was far from normal. Captain Han Ji-woo felt the Soul Core pulse with power. Lieutenant Commander, Yoon, activate Thunder Soul Protocol, all weapons free. Thunder Soul Protocol confirmed, Yoon So-young replied. Her voice was calm, but her hands shook with excitement. Quantum disruptors online, gravity cannons charging, swarm missile systems, ready. The alien weapon struck the indomitable Will's shields. Instead of penetrating, the energy was absorbed and redirected. The ship's hull glowed with captured power, making it look like a star that had learned to wage war. Impossible, Admiral, Vextar whispered. Our weapons are doing nothing. Han Jiwoo smiled grimly. Return fire. Show them what Thunder Soul means. The first salvo from the human battleship was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Quantum disruptors shot out in streams of twisted space-time, ignoring alien shields completely. The beams struck enemy ships and simply deleted sections of their hulls from reality. 50 alien vessels vanished in the first 3 seconds. By the void, one of Vextar's officers gasped. What kind of weapons are those? Before anyone could answer, the gravity cannons fired. Invisible force grabbed enemy ships and crushed them like tin cans. The laws of physics bent around the indomitable Will, turning the vacuum of space into a weapon. Another 100 alien ships disappeared. Lieutenant Commander Yoon So-young felt the ship's weapon systems respond to her thoughts. She didn't need to aim. The Soul Core showed her exactly where each target was, predicted their movements, calculated perfect firing solutions. It was like being connected to the mind of a god of war. Launching swarm missiles, she announced. Thousands of small projectiles erupted from the indomitable Will. But these weren't ordinary missiles. Each one contained a miniature artificial intelligence that could think faster than any alien computer. They curved around friendly forces, penetrated enemy defenses, and struck with surgical precision. 300 more enemy ships exploded. Master Chief Lim Dong-min watched the battle from the Marine Bay. Marines, prepare for boarding operations. Target their command ships. How do we get there, Chief? Asked Marine Sergeant Kim Bo-ra. Like this? Lim Dong-min grinned. He activated the quantum tunnel system. Space folded around the Marines, wrapping them in corridors of twisted reality. One moment they were on the indomitable Will, the next they materialized in the corridors of enemy ships throughout the fleet. The aliens had never seen anything like human Marines in quantum armor. The suits moved like liquid metal, protecting their wearers from any weapon. The Marines themselves fought with perfect coordination, each one knowing exactly where their teammates were and what they were doing. Lim Dong-min appeared on the bridge of a Saurian heavy cruiser. The alien officers reached for their weapons, but the Marine chief was faster. His quantum rifle fired bursts of pure energy that carved through alien armor like butter. Surrender, he told the surviving aliens, and we'll spare your crew. Most did. Engineer O'Miran watched her power systems perform miracles. The Soul Core wasn't just using the ship's fusion reactors anymore. It was drawing energy from the quantum vacuum, from the rotation of nearby planets, from the nuclear fusion in the distant star. The indomitable Will had become a living weapon that fed on the universe itself. Captain, she reported, power levels are holding steady despite maximum weapon usage. The Soul Core is adapting faster than I thought possible. Back in the alien fleet, panic was spreading. Admiral Vexitar's carefully organized formation broke apart as ships tried to flee. But the human battleship was everywhere at once, appearing through quantum jumps, striking from impossible angles. All ships, Vextar screamed into his communicator. Converge on the colony transport. If we cannot defeat them, we will complete our original mission. 2,000 remaining alien ships turned toward the helpless New Dawn. The colony ship had no weapons, no shields capable of stopping such an assault. 50,000 innocent people waited inside, knowing they were about to die. Captain Han Jiwoo saw the enemy movement on his tactical display. His heart stopped for a moment. Even the indomitable Will couldn't destroy 2,000 ships before they reached the transport. They're going to kill the civilians, Lieutenant Commander Yoon So-young said quietly. No, Han Jiwoo replied. They're not. He stood up from his command chair and walked to the center of the bridge. Around him, his crew looked up with trusting eyes. In the Marine bays, Master Chief Lim Dong-min felt the captain's determination. In engineering, O'Miran sensed what was about to happen. All hands, Han Jiwoo announced. Prepare for Soulstorm Protocol. Dr. Lee Hee-jin looked up from her medical station. Captain, that's never been tested with a full crew. We don't know what it will do to us. I know exactly what it will do, Han Ji-woo replied. It will save those people. He placed his hand on the soul core interface. The crystalline surface was warm under his palm, pulsing with the combined heartbeats of 12,000 human souls. Soulstorm Protocol requires complete crew unity, the ship's computer announced. All personnel must accept neural link activation. Around the ship, every member of the crew felt the question appear in their minds. Would they risk their individual consciousness to save the innocent? Would they become part of something larger than themselves? 12,000 voices answered as one. Yes. The soul core blazed with light. Every person aboard the Indomitable will gasped as their minds touched and merged. They remained themselves, but they were also part of a greater consciousness. The ship itself became alive, powered by human courage and determination. On the colony transport, Dr. Park Soo-jin felt the change like a wave of warmth washing over her. The 50,000 settlers suddenly looked up with wonder in their eyes. Can you feel that? Whispered the old man beside her. Yes, Dr. Park Soo-jin replied. They're coming for us. The indomitable will positioned itself directly between them, alien fleet and the new dawn. 2,000 enemy ships approached like a wall of death, their weapons charging for the final strike. Captain, Admiral Vextar broadcast, move aside or be destroyed with them. Han Ji-woo's reply came not from his lips alone, but from every soul aboard his ship. We are humanity. We chose peace, we built in hope, we extended friendship. But when you threaten our children, when you mock our mercy, you awaken the thunder in our souls. The soulstorm began. Energy cascaded from the indomitable will in patterns that defied physics. It reached through normal space, through hyperspace, through dimensions that had no names. The ship became a conduit for something far greater than technology, the focused will of humanity itself. Alien ships simply stopped existing. Not destroyed, not vaporized, erased from reality as if they had never been built. The soulstorm reached out with tendrils of pure intention and deleted everything that threatened the innocent. Admiral Vextar watched his entire fleet disappear in seconds. His own flagship was the last to go, caught in the storm of human fury and determination. What are you? He transmitted as his ship began to fade. We are what you made us, came the reply. We are what happens when you threaten our children. The Saurian admiral and his ship vanished into nothing. When the light faded, empty space surrounded the colony transport. Not a single alien vessel remained. The indomitable will floated peacefully nearby, its hull glowing with spent energy. Inside the ship, Captain Han Ji-woo and his crew slowly separated their minds from the soul core. They remained themselves, but they were also forever changed. They had touched something divine and terrible, the collective soul of their species. Status report, Han Ji-woo said quietly. All alien vessels destroyed, Lieutenant Commander Yoon So-young reported. The colony transport is safe. No casualties among our crew. Master Chief Lim Dong-min's voice came over the intercom. Marines report successful capture of 3 enemy vessels. We have about 200 alien survivors. Treat them well, Han. Ji-woo ordered. They're prisoners of war, not monsters. Engineer Oh Mi-ran checked her systems. Soul core is stable but exhausted. We'll need time to recharge. Dr. Lee Hye-jin prepared to receive the alien wounded. Even after what they had done, human mercy demanded that she heal them. On the new dawn, Captain Lee Dae-ho couldn't believe his sensors. The entire enemy fleet had simply disappeared. Dr. Park Soo-jin's voice came over the intercom. Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the human battleship. Han Ji-woo's image appeared on the screen. He looked tired, but victorious. This is Captain Han Ji-woo of the UES Indomitable Will. You are safe now. We're sending medical teams and supplies. Lee Dae-ho saluted. Thank you, Captain. I don't know how you did it, but thank you. We did what humans do, Han Ji-woo replied. We protected our family. The first strike of the Thundersoul battleship was over. The silence after the battle was deeper than the void between stars. Where 2,000 alien warships had been moments before, only empty space remained. The indomitable Will floated beside the colony transport like a protective giant, its hull still glowing with fading energy from the soulstorm. Captain Han Ji-woo sat in his command chair, feeling the weight of what they had done. Around him, his crew worked quietly at their stations. The neural connection from the soulstorm had left them all changed. They could still sense each other's thoughts if they concentrated, like echoes of a shared dream. Captain, Lieutenant, Commander Yoon So-young reported, long-range sensors are picking up observers, ships from a dozen different species staying at the edge of the system. Let them watch, Han Ji-woo replied. They need to understand what happened here. On those distant observer ships, alien commanders stared at their screens in disbelief. The Saurian Third Fleet had been the most powerful military force in this sector of the galaxy. Now it was gone, erased by a single human vessel that shouldn't have been able to exist. The insectoid queen of the hive clusters transmitted an emergency message to her homeworld. The humans are not what we thought. They are not weak. They are terrifying. The energy beings known as Void Wraith simply fled without sending any messages at all. But the most important observer was a small diplomatic vessel from the Galactic Council. Ambassador Ray Lin of the Centaurian Republic watched the human battleship with growing respect and fear. She had been sent to investigate reports of the attack, but she had arrived to witness something that would change galactic politics forever. Aboard the New Dawn, Captain Lee Dae-ho helped coordinate the rescue efforts. Medical teams from the indomitable Will had beamed over using quantum tunnels. They brought supplies, medicine, and most importantly, hope. Dr. Park Soo-jin worked alongside the human military doctors. Dr. Lee Hai-jin had brought healing equipment that seemed like magic. Devices that could mend broken bones in minutes and cure diseases with a touch. How is this possible? Dr. Park Soo-jin asked as she watched a child's broken arm heal completely. We learned some new tricks, Dr. Lee Hai-jin replied with a tired smile. The ship taught us. It wants to preserve life. In the colony ship's main hall, 50,000 people gathered to meet their rescuers. Master Chief Lim Dong-min stood before them, still wearing his quantum armor. He looked like a warrior from legend, but his voice was gentle. You're safe now, he told them. We're going to take you to New Busan as planned. Your new home is waiting. A little girl raised her hand. Are you angels? Lim Dong-min knelt down, to her level. No, sweetheart. We're just humans who care about other humans. The colony ship's engines were damaged beyond repair, but that wasn't a problem for the indomitable Will. The battleship extended a gravity field that could carry the transport like a parent carrying a child. Within hours, both ships were moving toward the planet New Busan. Engineer Oh Miran monitored the Soul Core's recovery. The crystalline heart of the ship pulsed slowly, rebuilding its energy reserves. The weapon systems were offline, but somehow, that felt right. The indomitable Will had proven its point. Now it could rest. Captain, she reported, the Soul Core is showing something interesting. It's not just recharging, it's growing, adding new crystal formations. Growing? Han Ji-woo asked. It's learning from what we did, preparing for the future. Captain Han Ji-woo walked through the ship during the journey to New Busan. His crew had returned to their normal duties, but there was a new quality to their work. They moved with perfect coordination, anticipated each other's needs, worked together like parts of a single organism. In the Marine quarters, soldiers cleaned and maintained their quantum weapons. But they also wrote letters to their families, played games with each other and told jokes. The terrible power they wielded hadn't made them monsters. If anything, it had reminded them of their humanity. Dr. Lee Hee-jin treated the alien survivors in the ship's medical bay. 200 Saurian warriors lay in healing chambers, their reptilian bodies mending slowly. Most of them stared at her with confusion. Why do you heal us? Asked one of the aliens. We came to kill your people. Because that's what humans do. Dr. Lee Hyojin replied. We heal the wounded, even our enemies. The alien warrior was quiet for a long time. Then he said, We did not understand. We thought you were weak because you chose peace. Peace isn't weakness, the doctor replied. Peace is strength under control. But when you threaten children, when you mock mercy, you find out what that strength can do. 3 days later, both ships arrived at New Busan. The planet was beautiful. Blue oceans, green continents, white clouds swirling in clean atmosphere. Exactly the kind of world humans had dreamed of when they first looked up at the stars. The colonists transferred to the planet's surface using shuttles from the indomitable Will. Captain Lee Dae-ho was among the last to leave his damaged ship. What happens now? He asked Captain Han Ji-woo. Now you build your colony, Han Ji-woo replied, and we make sure the galaxy understands the new rules. Fleet Admiral Choi Min-ho's voice crackled over the communication system. Captain Han, you have an incoming transmission. It's from the Galactic Council. Ambassador Raylin's image appeared on the screen. She was a tall, graceful being with silver skin and large, intelligent eyes. Her expression was respectful but wary. Captain Han Ji-woo, she said, I am Ambassador Raylin of the Galactic Council. I witnessed your demonstration. The Council requests an immediate meeting to discuss the implications of your technology. What kind of meeting? Han Ji-woo asked. The kind where we try to prevent a galactic war, Raylin replied honestly. Your ship has upset the balance of power. Every species in the galaxy is either terrified of humanity or planning to ally with you. Han Ji-woo considered this. Very well, but the meeting will be held here, in the New Busan system, and it will be broadcast across the galaxy. 6 weeks. Later, representatives from every major galactic power gathered in orbit around New Busan. The indomitable Will floated among their diplomatic ships like a dark promise. Its weapons were powered down, but everyone remembered what it could do. The meeting took place aboard the human battleship. Ambassador Raylin led a delegation that included the Supreme Chancellor of the Galactic Council, military commanders from a dozen species, and trade representatives from the major economic powers. They gathered in the ship's main conference room, where the walls showed a view of the stars outside. The Soul Core's gentle pulse could be felt throughout the room, a reminder of the power that surrounded them. Honored delegates, Captain Han Ji-woo began. Thank you for coming. I know many of you have questions about what happened here. The Saurian representative, a different admiral than the one who had died, spoke first. Your technology is beyond anything we've encountered. How do we know you won't use it to conquer the galaxy? Because, Han Ji-woo replied, conquest was never our goal. We wanted to explore, to learn, to make friends among the stars. But when you attack our civilians, when you threaten our children, you discover what we're really capable of. The insectoid queen buzzed angrily. You destroyed an entire fleet. 2,000 ships, countless lives. We gave them a chance to surrender, Lieutenant Commander Yoon So-young said from her position beside the captain. They chose to threaten innocent people instead. Master Chief Lim Dong-min stepped forward. But we also saved every alien survivor we could. We healed their wounded. We treated them with dignity. That's the difference between us. Ambassador Raylin raised her hand for silence. The Council has a proposal. Humanity will be granted full membership and given authority to patrol this sector of the galaxy. In exchange, you will help maintain peace and protect all species from aggression. Han Ji-woo looked at his senior officers. Through their connection to the Soul Core, he could feel their agreement. We accept, he said, but with conditions. First, any species that attacks civilians will face the same fate as the Saurian Third Fleet. Second, we will share our defensive technology with any peaceful species that wants it. Third, this ship and others like it will patrol the galaxy to ensure peace. The Supreme Chancellor, an ancient being who had seen the rise and fall of empires, nodded slowly. Agreed. Let this be the beginning of a new age. The Treaty of New Busan was signed that day aboard the indomitable Will. Every major species agreed to new rules. No attacks on civilians, no territorial expansion through conquest, peaceful resolution of disputes. And if anyone broke those rules, they would face the Thunder Soul battleships. 6 months later, Captain Han Ji-woo stood on the bridge of his ship as they patrolled the Outer Rim territories. The indomitable Will was no longer alone. 3 more Thunder Soul battleships had been completed, each one bonded to its crew through the Soul Core technology. "Captain," Lieutenant Commander Yoon So-young reported, "we're receiving a distress call from the Vegan system. Pirates are attacking a merchant convoy." Han Ji-woo smiled grimly. "Set course for the Vegan system. Maximum speed." The indomitable Will leaped into hyperspace, carrying with it the promise of protection for the innocent and justice for those who would prey upon them. On New Busan, the first human colony in this sector was thriving.